2018, powerful men came together and powerful men fell once again to the hashtag #MeToo movement. Women defining old traditions. In Korea, two nations come together, while in Europe, nations depart. A crowned Saudi prince with ties to a death of a journalist. Caravans flee to the north. The political divide of 2017 spilled over to 2018. The eyes of the nation were again fixed on President Donald Trump, whose second year in office was no less remarkable than his first. In January, a controversial pairing led to talks of denuclearization as the president met with Kim Jong-un, as controversial tweets between the two leaders that eventually led them to the U.S.-North Korea summit in Singapore. In months later, Kim Jong-un crosses the border between the two Koreas to meet South Korea's President Moon Jae-in for the first time in decades. The hashtag #MeToo movements see Hollywood icon Bill Cosby found guilty and sentenced to prison for drugging and raping women for over 20 years. As D.C. was hit with a scandal as appointed Supreme Justice Brett Kavanaugh was called out by a doctor and former classmate that alleged forced grabbing and groping. Gun control laws are once again put to the test after 17 students and staff members are massacred in the Parkland shootings. 19-year-old former student Nicholas Cruz was identified as the assailant. So far, there has been 337 mass shootings in the United States in 2018. In Silicon Valley, our privacy was put on the line as data analyst firm took personal information of 50 million Facebook users. Founder Mark Zuckerberg testified to Congress, and $109 billion is wiped off Facebook's market cap as growth slows as the trust of millions are lost. Meanwhile, trillions are gained as Apple became the first trillion-dollar company in America. In 2018, founder of Amazon.com, Jeff Bezos, was pronounced as the world's richest person, saw his net worth hit $151 billion, which is about $56 billion more than the $95.3 billion that Microsoft co-founder is currently worth. Record-breaking women ran in the midterms and won. There were many historical firsts, as Congress would see the first Muslim woman, the first Native American, and the first openly gay man. The 29-year-old self-proclaimed girl from the Bronx, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, became the youngest person in the U.S. Congress. As wildfires engulfed California and Greece, with terrifying power, leaving many people without homes, Canada legalized marijuana, while Elon Musk sees his company shares fall after indulging during a live stream interview. Overseas, a Russian former spy, Sergei Skripal, and his daughter Yulia are poisoned with Novichok, a nerve agent which was developed by the Soviet Union in 1971 for military use. Although blamed, the Kremlin did not take responsibility. In months later, the Russians would see Putin's fourth term. Not to be outdone by his counterpart in Russia, Xi Jinping is granted presidency for life as China removes the 2-year term limit, while the new trade war is in its infancy, as Trump hits China with tariffs estimated at $34 billion in goods. In the UK, it was all about Brexit. It is UK's favorite argument. The year is ending the way it began, without a final deal, and ton of uncertainty about what lies ahead. Former Secretary Boris Johnson quit over the proposals, as Theresa May tried to get a break through the EU leaders. Instead, she managed to annoy the 27 other countries and was rebuffed for her efforts. In November, a Brexit deal that was almost outlined identical to the one from earlier this year. Ireland makes history with a landslide victory to repeal the law making abortion illegal. In the East, 12 boys and their soccer coach made international headlines in Thailand, where 12 boys and their coach were trapped by water while exploring a cave. After a week-long search, they were found, with the only way to rescue them is through diving. As the world watched with uncertainty, a Navy SEAL who died while trying to rescue them, all hope seemed unreal. Thanks to all the brave men and women, they were rescued after weeks. In the Middle East, Saudi Arabia dominates the news with the new crowned prince Mohammed bin Salim. The prince lifts the ban on issuing driving licenses to women. Movie theaters are no longer banned. The praises would soon come to an end as veteran Saudi journalist and opinion maker, at times highly critical of the Saudi royal family, Jamal Khashoggi. In October, he went to the Saudi consulate in Istanbul to seek documents that would allow him to marry his fiancée. Instead, all trace of him was lost. Khashoggi frequently criticized the prince publicly, stating that he was in fear how the new prince was consolidating power. As there was a reported incident where the prince gathered all his political opponents and held them hostage as what the prince called the cleanup of corruption. One person was reported missing from the incident. The murder is still under investigation. In October, about 3,000 Central Americans made their way through Guatemala as the president threatened to close the U.S.-Mexico border if authorities there failed to stop the caravan. Mexico dispatched additional police to its southern border as the Mexican government assured no one would pass without a passport and visa or apply individually for refugee status. As the debate over immigration lingers, the U.S. would see the second government shutdown in the week of Christmas. Unfortunately, people who passed in 2018 were British physicist Stephen Hawking, South African anti-apartheid icon Winnie Mandela, Senator and war hero John McCain, Barbara and her husband, former President George Bush, American chef and TV food show host Anthony Bourdain, famous musicians such as rapper Malcolm McCormick, better known as Mac Miller, would see his young life come to an end at the age of 26. Legend of film Burt Reynolds passes away. Comic writer and co-creator of Spider-Man, Hulk, and X-Men, Stan Lee, passes away at age 95. Rest in peace to you all. And finally, in 2009, The Lobo Show looks forward to providing more engaging content. We hope to see you all there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Heapsack, and it was a pleasure covering the news for The Lobo Show for the last 2 years. And I wish you and everyone listening a good night and good luck.
Thank you, Heapsack. Ladies and gentlemen, man, that was the year of 2018. And
what a
dude,
year.
It was some fucking fucked up shit, man. A lot of good ups and downs, dude, when it comes down to it, dude. Let me tell you something. Locally, obviously, sometimes it's one thing about these liberals and these people that protest in this day and age. It feels like, to me, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think too much has changed here in America, but like I said, there's a lot of fucking antagonists out there. Go, what are you talking about? Every day's a struggle. Shut up, man. But like I said, though, dude, but you hear what's going on here in the other countries and what happened and shit. I feel like sometimes that these people are bitching about nothing, man. Dude, that Khashoggi shit, that shit was fucked up. You know what? That Bin Salim guy, that was a guy that I remember prior when this guy was coming into power. I was like, yo, this is guy. I like this guy. I was really saying I like this guy a lot. To be honest, he dumped a lot of money to America. That's one thing with the Trump thing. Anybody can Google that, look that up and shit. I was like, okay. And then also I like the fact that, and like I said, dude, I'm not a chauvinist. I like the fact that women are driving and they open the movie theaters. He's like, man, cut the bullshit. I was like, oh, here's a guy who's kind of progressive. This guy's moving forward. And people think that progressive is a liberal term. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It should not be. I think the conservatives are more progressive than the liberals are. The liberals are trying to divide and trying to start some kind of bullshit. Obviously, I'm gonna keep saying that till the cows fucking come home. But the prince, so they were saying that. So now, but I was like, all right, I'm on board with this guy. And I'm not going to lie, man. I did hear about that shit when he took apparently a lot of those princes. And all these guys were high profile. Like 80% of them was part of this family, essentially, like legit his family. And I heard about that. And I kind of was like, here's the thing. Maybe this is kind of like small thinking of me. And I'm like, you know what? But that's what those guys do over there. And I think that, sometimes you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. So I'm thinking this Salim guy, I'm like, not going to lie, I kind of really respected this guy. You know what I mean? I'm like, because here's the thing, dude, race, color, creed and shit. I feel like if you're doing your thing, and I feel like you have the ideology of trying to make things right and different things. Because to be honest, look, dude, I'm a Catholic and shit, but I'm not going to push that on anybody. But I do feel in a way that there's sometimes that these Muslims are a little extreme. And the reason I say that, I mean, come on, dude, they beat the shit out of their wives and shit. You know what I mean? They fucking sell off their daughters. And now, listen, I know this is like way stereotypical. Oh, we all do that? Every Muslim do that? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm trying to say it's somewhere in the book that's justified. That's all I'm saying. Because if it's not, then why do they fucking do it? So if you're like a modern day Muslim saying, Lobos, you're fucking full shit, you don't know shit about Muslim, that's not true, then I'm just saying, though, then why does that happen in their fucking culture? Then please answer me that. But to me, it's like, so I thought the guy was doing a good thing, but when it comes down to, the reporter and everything, and obviously we live in this age where it's like fake news, fuck the reporting and all that shit. I get that. That's all in fun and games, but nobody wants to see anybody be hurt. That's because that's bullshit, and nobody wants anybody to. To me personally, I take a big fucking offense of anybody out there who's trying to silence somebody. I don't like that. So this Khashoggi guy, I don't give a fuck what he was saying. If he was saying liberal shit, I don't care. But you don't have to silence anybody forcefully. That I have a problem with. That I don't like. There's many people that I disagree with. There's many people who I think that are absolutely like borderline terrorists with the shit that they say, to be honest, me personally. But I'll tell you this, I don't want them to be silenced, because the minute that I want them to be silenced is the minute that I fucking lose. You know what I mean, though, Sack? But I'll say
Absolutely.
this. Khashoggi, that was fucked up. The prince, I thought he was better than that. And to be honest, I don't fuck with him no more. Now I'm like, you know what? Fuck that guy, to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you. And I know the liberals like, yeah, exactly. I know it's like that. But see, I like to, I listen to the left and the right, and I make my own decisions. But I don't, saying, dude. But I'm just saying, like, yo, fuck that guy, the prince right now, because I know he had shit to do with that. And maybe he's like, oh, so what, man? So what, man? I'm the motherfucking prince, man. I do what I want. I'm the king of the world, man.
He
I
thinks
got more.
he's the sultan. He's not the sultan.
He's not the motherfucking sultan. He doesn't walk around with silk fucking shoes on and rubies. He's got a big fat stomach, and the sultan can have any woman he wants. And
some Aladdin reference.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. And let me tell you, how dare you look at the Sultan in the eye? That's another thing. You can't look the Sultan in the eye. And if he wants your woman, he can have her. He can have her, because he's the Sultan. And what are you going to do about it? Big fat prick. But listen, in other news, when it comes down to, the fucking kids that stuck in the cave and everything, that made headlines, you know what I mean? That was a big thing. That was globally, you know what I mean? International and all of that shit. But like I said this before, man, what the fuck was with the guy? The soccer coach. What was he trying to take him to the fucking the cave? What was he trying to go to somewhere really secluded? I don't know. What's that guy fucking doing? And here's the thing: what went on that cave anyway? You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know what? I bet you the guy was like, you know what? Look, man, we got a couple hours to live. Let's just fucking have a big fucking orgy.
Oh boy!
Like, let's have a big. I hope that's the case. You know what? They're gonna probably shut this fucking channel down just for that joke. It's a joke, but I'm just trying to say, because I wouldn't put it past any asshole. Here's the thing, right? I'm not gonna lie to you, right? This is what I find very strange. Like I'm personable. I like people and shit, but I like my privacy. Like anybody, like I love my niece and nephew. I don't have children and shit. I'm not married. I'm single, ready to mingle. So give me a jingle type shit. But it's like, I don't understand, why would anybody want to spend time with kids that's not their own? Like, oh, I got a bunch of 12 boys. Like, yeah, I'm like excited. Like, yeah, I'm their coach and all that shit. Fuck that. That sounds so annoying. I don't need their fucking problems. I don't need their shit. Like I said, this is why there are people that do it. And not to say, oh, you're a horrible person. Oh, come on. I'm just telling the fucking truth. But out of all those stories, what stood out to you, Sack?
Well, I mean, that was pretty shocking that there's over 300 shootings. I mean, I know that's kind of
it's pretty
normal now, but
fucked.
That's kind of crazy when you say that number. It's like, whoa, because there's 365 days in a year, right. And that's a lot of shootings in a year. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But other stuff as far as like that really caught my eye was the people that passed away this year. I mean, yeah, you lost a lot of young people, old people,
Sure,
and somewhere in
sure.
between, smart, entertainers, and yeah, it was crazy. The like George Bush Senior, the
Yeah.
guy that was wild because he was old. He
Yeah,
was in his
yeah, that guy
90s.
was really old, and Barbara
Yeah,
Bush was like, dude, I remember, like I said, Barbara Bush was like, she had white hair in the fucking 90s, like, and she looked like an old grandmother in the
she
90s.
did. Yeah, I
She did,
know.
man.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever. And
And
you
John
know what?
McCain,
John
like up
McCain,
and
yeah,
all that.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. I remember we made a John McCain video, I think we did, and it's so funny. I never got that was the most flack I got, actually, was through the John McCain video. And trust me, all the shit I said. But I remember that when we did that and we were talking like, oh, I was like, sir, thank you and all that. People were like, oh, John McCain was a piece of shit. And like, holy shit, Jesus Christ, though. Like,
The guy was a POW. You got to
yeah,
give him a pass. Come
dude,
on,
listen, not for nothing, dude. It's like, I think that, it's like one of those things. Listen, it's one thing if a guy's a pedophile and he dies and somebody goes like, hey, listen, he's a piece of shit. Somebody go, oh, you can't say that he's dead. Now, fuck that motherfucker. He's a piece of shit. If when Kevin Spacey dies, I hope everybody says he's a piece of shit. But dude, like John McCain, obviously politically people may not agree what he did, but what has he really done to go, oh, no, I want to tell you, you know why? He covered up the aliens. He was the one that shit.
do you know what gets me? And this is what I'm saying. All these people that are saying that, none of these people were prisoners of war. I'm not the biggest John McCain fan or whatever, but I'm just saying this guy was a prisoner of war, man. Like,
No, you're not. Yeah.
none of these people have never been a war. So they do, when they're torturing you,
Yeah,
like,
true.
dude, your life
true.
is going by your,
Yeah.
like, yeah, this, so, yeah, but what's crazy to me is when George Bush Sr. died, I was watching television, and for like 2 or 3 days, they were celebrating his funeral, and just on how big like it was because John McCain didn't get that, like nobody really got that
But
type
well,
of-
that's true. That's true. They get it, but you know what though, Bush though, I'm not gonna lie. I think
he was
Bush,
a big deal, right?
He was a big deal, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. People might not, maybe they're a little bit younger, or they might not understand this, but Bush Senior is way highly more regarded,
Oh, of course.
way more than
the
his son.
CIA,
Than his son.
like,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
New
Than his
World
son.
Order speech.
Yeah, dude. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not a New World Order guy, like I said,
But he was the guy.
But he was the guy,
yeah.
and obviously Skulls and Bones. Listen, dude,
Sure, yeah, why not?
whatever. And then here's the thing: if that was his plan, it didn't work. The guy did 4 years. People hated him, and Clinton took over. Then the Clinton dynasty fucking started, and we all know how that fucking went.
Slurp, slurp.
Another thing, like I said, dude, when it comes down to the young guys dying and shit, obviously the Mac Miller kid, he was very popular.
Yeah,
there was another rapper. There's another rapper who died. He got killed and shit. Got shot up.
Triple X, yeah, XX, Tentacion, yeah.
Yeah, that was fucked up, man. And I'm trying to say, like, yo, dude, it's unfortunate anytime when you hear any young guy who dies, whether it be murder, unfortunately, unsolved murders, what's going on a lot here in this day and age, and when it comes down to drug overdose, it's the culture of the youth, man. Nobody wants to see any young people die. That's fucked up, and especially young talented people and shit, because there's a lot of losers out there who are just gonna live up to the day they die, and they're gonna just do nothing all their whole life. But dude, there are people out there that's really doing something. But when you are talking about deaths, I'm gonna have to mention Aretha Franklin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't give a fuck. The Queen of Soul, yo, she is, and I'm not just saying that, like it's weird. Like these are things that I'm like, Jesus Christ, we were been saying, like, dude, this is fucking influential people. She just has a presence, which is, I'm not saying that we're losing in this day and age, but in this day and age,
no,
like,
music.
So
Totally.
Right? Comment on this part right here. My people that I know are listening to this, who are back, who are saying like, holy shit, is this a Lobo show? Is this an old show? No, it's the year in review. Dude, he said I want to say about this year before, you know what I mean? We meet our new producer. And by the way, you see, I don't know if you've seen that guy in the lobby.
Oh,
Yo, dude.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're still listening to the Lobo show, here's the thing, right? Comment on this part right here. My people that I know are listening to this, who are back, who are saying like, holy shit, is this a Lobo show? Is this an old show? No, it's the year in review. Dude,